I tried to understand Leonardo's mind because he was a very particular artist of that time. Is the only man, brilliant man of that time, that were never asked to go to Rome to paint for the Vatican. Many colleagues of him, like Botticelli, Ghirlandaio, and many others, all them went to Rome to paint for the Pope, but Leonardo doesn't. So I believe that there was something wrong with Leonardo when I realized this information. Later on, I started working with Leonardo's notebooks because they contain a lot of strange information. You know that Leonardo collect a lot of information about his own library, notes about his friendships. So there are a lot of daily life information in his notebooks, very fascinating. I started studying all this, and I realized that Leonardo, for sure, was not a good Christian for the mentality of that time, and that was the genesis. I arrived to Leonardo also through ancient Egypt. I know this is strange, but I arrived because my previous work was on Napoleon, on the expedition that Napoleon directs in Egypt at the end of the 18th century. And then I realized that ancient Egypt was very influential in Europe during the 19th century, but also during the Renaissance. The main responsible of this ancient Egyptian influence in Europe was a very close friend of Leonardo named Marsilio Ficino. Marsilio Ficino was the man who translated into Latin all the ancient Egyptian magical texts, but also all the books of Plato, the philosopher. And this was fascinating for Leonardo. I tried to study if any ancient Egyptian influence arrives to Leonardo paintings. And looking for this, I discovered The Last Supper. I discovered its mysteries. My kind of literature tries to use fiction to solve real historical mysteries. My kind of job is to document as much as possible all the evidence, all the facts that the history has around a mystery, and then use fiction to solve the mystery. That's what I made with The Secret Supper. I collect a huge amount of information of the time during 3 years of research in Italy, in France, and even in Spain. And once I have all the pieces of this puzzle on my table, I use fiction to construct a coherent scenario to solve this mystery. I consult many historians before writing The Secret Supper, and after the publication of the book in Italy, in Spain, now in France, soon in Germany, many historians write me to comment that for them it was a very surprising novel because it solves really a mystery, but of course it's solved by fiction. We lack the document who proves that my idea is true. But I like to think in this kind of books like in Jules Verne books. Maybe now we don't have the proof, but in a century or so we will find it.